Hi people, Night Voice back here again. Haven't put a video out for a while. I seen the paper the other week about this mining super tax. The IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, it's World Bank, if that's what you like to call it, suggesting to our government that this mining super tax should cover the whole industry. In other words, all minerals. Now, I put a video out a couple of months ago about who runs this country. Here's another example. The IMF suggesting to our government that they impose this mining super tax on all minerals across the board. Now, I had it in the back of my mind that if this mining super tax gets passed through Parliament and becomes law, that they would slowly attack other minerals. So in other words, it's just another huge tax on that industry. I've also mentioned in videos before about all the superannuation that's paid into private companies and invested into other companies. I've mentioned that from day dot, when this compulsory superannuation came into effect, that it should have been controlled by the government. Now, if that money was in the government's hands, and it amounts up to billions of dollars a year being paid into these funds. The problems we're having in Queensland and Victoria now, there's all this flooding that's going on, and the problems people are having with insurance companies. The government are talking about putting a levy, a one-off levy on all of us to help pay for the reconstruction of Queensland and Victoria. If the government had all this superannuation money, they wouldn't have to put a levy on us. They could pay for everything. I've mentioned before about our hospital system, our schooling, our police force, and anything else that's currently knackered. Everybody's not going to retire at the same time. Everybody's not going to die at the same time. So there's not a problem as far as superannuation, as far as having to worry about paying people out. It is billions and billions and billions of dollars every year that are paid into these funds, and they're in private, majority of them in private hands. Now, this worldwide money crisis that has gone on and is still going on is slowly going to get worse and worse. I mean, you've only got to have a look at other countries around the world, and to some effect, some respect here in Australia, but other countries of the world are having trouble with China now as far as currency and trading with China is concerned, and it's probably starting to slowly affect us here as well. It's going to affect the stock market and these investment firms that have invested in certain things globally. Ultimately, it'll affect everybody's superannuation. Like I said, if the government's got it, and should have had it in the first place, this would still be the lucky country. But this IMF suggesting to our government that they put this mining super tax on all minerals, it's just another, well, who's running our country? You'd ask the question. But as far as these floods and devastation in Queensland and Victoria, the government really needs to step in and help these people. You know, we borrowed this 42 or $43 billion for the stimulus package. If these insurance companies are going to muck people around, and I mean, to lose your home and everything, it's really devastating to people who have to go through that sort of thing. You know, whether it's floods, bushfires, or whatever. Just destroyed. It's soul destroying when you lose all your personal possessions and, you know, kids. Absolutely shocking. But like I mentioned, I'm sort of getting sidetracked here, because it is a terrible thing to have to go through, and I think all of us feel for these people that it's affecting right now. And like I mentioned, the government borrowed this $42 billion for the stimulus package or whatever it was. You know, I think they should just go and borrow whatever they have to. And like I said, if these insurance companies are hassling people, you know, won't pay out or anything like that, the government should just step in, pay these people out, and fight. The government should fight with the insurance companies. And if the laws or the insurance, the way that things are written, well, you know, make it that everything has to be covered, or close them down, or, you know, whatever. I mean, it can be worked out, but in the immediate future, the government should just step in and just fix everybody up. You know, I mentioned to someone the other day about borrowing the stimulus package, and, you know, a lot of the money was ripped off, and projects aren't finished, and you know, some of them haven't been paid for, I suppose, but a lot of it was ripped off. In a situation like this, well, you know, the government, I mentioned to somebody they should just pay everybody $500,000 so that everybody can rebuild or whatever they have to do. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, we all pay for it, us taxpayers. So it's neither here nor there. You know, but at least we know where the money's going, you know. Doesn't matter whether your house is worth $2 million or $300,000, doesn't matter. Just have a ceiling, bang, that's it, $500,000, and pay it all out. And then fight with the insurance companies down the track. They take ages. I mean, I live in West Australia. We had an earthquake where I live a few months ago, and some people are still battling with the insurance companies. And so I said to one guy the other day, he was talking, he said, "Oh, I've just been talking about my house." I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Oh, it's been passed off to the eastern states." I said, "Well, now you've got all this flooding in the eastern states, you'd be lucky to see any money or any decision on your house for another 12 months. You know, I mean, people need somewhere to live. And this is where the government should just, like I said, just step in and pay everybody out and worry about it later, down the track. We need people back in their homes, or in new homes, or families back together, everybody back into work, and whatever happens. You know, it's like now, I suppose there's a lot of businesses that have shut down, there's a lot of people that can't go to work. Okay, they should be working, cleaning up, building levees, whatever, and getting paid from the government, because their employees can't pay them because they're not manufacturing anything, or they can't turn up to work. Well, they can't get to work. So this is what in times like this is what the government is all about. Looking after our population. So I hope that Gillard and Abbott get together and just say, right, this is what we're going to do, and you know, we can't have people homeless, living in misery, worrying about how they're going to pay their mortgage. I did see one thing in the paper, a snippet in the paper the other day about Westpac Bank, I think, saying that if people have lost their homes due to the flooding, that they might forego their mortgages, which is absolutely brilliant if that's the case. If that's what the article, well, I read, I think part of it. I think it was on the internet, actually. I didn't read the full story, I just read the headlines, but if that's the case, I mean, it's good on Westpac for doing that. It's absolutely good. This is what I mean about all of us Australians, the government, everybody. Get behind all these people and you know, support them. Like I said, there's nothing worse than losing your home, losing all your possessions, and you know, everything else. That's my feelings on the matter anyway, so night, boys. I'll catch you later.